On this week's episode of the Peach Life Podcast, we are joined by David and Mya. Come along as we talk to this couple about getting out of the big city and some of the really cool options there are for getting your bus registered. Join us each week as we talk to inspiring and creative individuals and learn just how big living tiny can really be. We hope you enjoy this episode of the Peach Life Podcast. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for more episodes each week. I have with me today David and Mya. You guys have a really cool Instagram called the Magic Cool Bus. Where'd you guys come up with that name?
I mean, those who know. I mean, we kind of grew up with Miss Frizzle and the Magic School Bus. So
that is,
I don't know.
That's exactly what I was hoping for. My daughters just recently, because they've put out new ones recently, has kind of fallen in love with the.
Oh, they did.
Yeah.
That's what's up.
Yeah, my daughter's. She loves like the new one as well. So when I saw that, I was like, I really hope that it's after the Magic School Bus.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and we are big fans of going on the wildest adventures and whatever that may entail. So. Yeah.
Doing what the cool kids do.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
For you guys, what sparked that idea to build the bus, to buy it, and just kind of get out on the road when you're done building it?
Go for it.
Well, for me, I've wanted a tiny home or simpler living for a really long time. I mean, probably since I was like 18, 20, I was just thinking like, what is, an easy way for me to travel and go wherever I want, essentially. I grew up in Maine, and when I was in my early 20s, I moved to New York City and then lived in New York City for about 6 years and then moved to California. So I've hopped around a little bit, and moving is, it's such a pain, but like one of the biggest things for me is like, how freeing is it to have all of your belongings in a moving vehicle and be able to take it wherever you want? I mean, it doesn't get much better for me than that.
Yeah, definitely. I would definitely echo that. I was born and raised in San Diego, and I was fortunate enough to be able to experience a little bit of the country and travel with my family on vacations growing up. The trailer, I'm the fifth of six. So it was quite wild with all of us. But I got the travel bug, and I love seeing new places and new things. And hi, Murphy. What's up, buddy? Good boy.
Guest.
Special guest today. But I just love being on the road and being able to travel and see things. So we both have always wanted a school bus, honestly, is what it comes down to. And we met each other.
Talked about it instantly. Like, it was like one of the first things when we were like discussing like the things that we wanted out of life. I was like, I really want to buy a school bus and turn it into a tiny home. And David was like, so do I. That's crazy.
That's awesome. Yeah. I had that from because that's a big thing to you see that with some people where it's like that's a big thing to spring on somebody if you're if you're not sure like where they're
right.
I mean, tiny living is not always for everybody, that's for sure. I know for
Definitely.
myself, like when I was, I think like 12, 13, and 14, like 3 years in a row, my parents ended up being like camp hosts where we spent like 5 months, almost 4.5, 5 months, all like in camping the entire time in a trailer. And like,
that's
just
so cool.
And for me at like that pivotal age of like going into teenager life, I was like, for me, I just, I fell in love, and for me, I've always known that that's what I wanted to do is get out there and travel, see the world. So that's
definitely
awesome. I love seeing other people that have that same community. The community is growing and just becoming so cool. The more it grows, it's like the better it becomes. The more connections you have with other
travelers, the more like, whatever, like events, meetups, like festivals, sport, that kind of stuff. So it's cool to see that community growing.
Yeah, there's actually, I think Schoolie Palooza is going on right now. We were like really hoping to get there this year, but it just wasn't in the plans. But that, I mean, hopefully next year we'll be making it out to Arizona and going to Schoolie Palooza and meet some more like-minded people. We see people sometimes. Like a couple weeks ago, David was driving in San Diego, and there was this guy with a short bus, and he just like rolled down his window and was like, "Hey, what's your Instagram?"
Yeah, it was so cool. We just met a random schoolie literally driving on the road. Yeah, now we've chatted, and I was messaging him the other day, like the same day that I met him, just extremely similar views and mindset and desires and what he wants out of life. Like I'm like, oh, that sounds pretty good to me. Like that's exactly where we're headed.
Yeah.
So yeah,
the whole community has that. It's like it's like a really great like-minded mentality for that.
definitely. And on the same note of as far as like more people that are joining this community and realizing that this is what they want, is the fact that so much more resources will become available and ways to do things and inspiration from how people have done things, and yeah, it's just great.
Yeah, I think a lot of it too for us is, I mean, we're working class people who we don't, we just kind of, we don't, unfortunately, with the way things are today, like we don't have the ability to like, buy a house like our parents did. We just did, it's without getting too political, it's just the way that things are, and I'm okay with that. And this is literally our first home, like a home that's ours, that we can build for a tiny little fraction of what it would cost, especially in Southern California where it's so expensive.
Oh, yeah.
You
Yeah.
get like a house that's like, torn down to the studs for no less than $400,000 in a place like this. So this, and we can pull it. I mean, that's the thing too, is like being able to pull it up onto the beach, like this is my view. This is my, this is my front yard, is just amazing. Yeah, we look forward to the day that we can like take it on the road and just go wherever we want, and
Yeah,
definitely.
Do you guys have any like bucket list ones that are like right off the top for you guys that you've always wanted to go to?
Zion is number one.
Yeah, we want to go to Zion National Park and the Narrows and all that.
That'll be our first big trip, I think, that we really, really want to do. We also would like to take it back east to where I grew up in Maine. Okay. That's a big one that we want to do too. But yeah. I mean, all over.
That freedom to see family is to me is actually, I think, one of the coolest things that I personally love about that idea is, these days it's easy to move, and so people really do have families all over the place, like all over the country a lot of the times. And so I think that's a way to be able to see that extended family,
totally. And we can bring the kids or the pets or all the above. And we don't have to be like, okay, well, we fly out, we'll be there for 4 days, and we've got a kennel reserved for the dog, and we got someone watching the cats, like there's none of that. No, we just bring them all with us. Like, yeah.
Have everything at our fingertips, and to share it too. Like, a lot of people are so excited about like our journey. Like, it's great. Like, you think, like at first, like when we were thinking about it, I was like telling, like, I'm gonna tell my mom I'm gonna live in a bus. It's like kind of like and so our friends will joke, it's like that Saturday Night Live with Chris Farley. He's like, living in a van down by the river, and I'm like, yup.
That's it.
I've noticed that too, that it always feels weird, like especially with the travel trailer, because of the way you have to say it. You're like not sure, do people think I'm talking about like an actual trailer park, or like you never know, so you're like, you trying to explain, no, it really is better than it sounds. Like, I promise you.
Yeah,
It's really cool.
that's funny.
Yeah, and I think people, like, a lot of times I think schoolies feel that way as well. It's like when people see inside of them, like
Oh,
it's like a whole new world. I mean,
Yeah,
I've seen like, 200,000 or $2 million like RVs that don't even look as good as some of the schoolies I've seen built for a
totally.
you can
I have
customize it.
been. I'm so excited about helping at least put an end to that stigma and to that like view, because like I'm so excited to turn this thing into something just like so artistic and masterfully like designed and so well done. And
Crafted, like,
yeah, and like we're both definitely creatives, and I'm a general contractor and custom fabricator, so like I am very grateful and blessed to be able to have knowledge of how to do things like this. Although it is slightly different in a rig, everything you have to do, be it framing, electrical, plumbing, it's all, I'm able to understand what I need to do and how to do it. But at the same time, the fact that, you're in a rig that is moving and is in all these different weather climates and stuff, like there's all sorts of things that you have to do just slightly different in the application and context for be it framing or electrical and stuff like that. So there are things you have to think about and do differently, but at the same time it's really cool, and I'm really excited to build something that people will be like, wow, that's a bus.
Yeah.
Like what?
And you can do it at like a fraction, because a lot of people,
Yeah.
I think they don't know. I mean, we got our bus like for free. Like we were given our bus. So,
Oh,
like,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
It's pretty crazy. Like, so at the beginning, like like I said, we were talking about it, and David and I had only been dating for like maybe 3 or 4 months and we were like, I think it was like Thanksgiving. We were going to visit his family and
Of last year.
Okay.
going to visit his family in Bakersfield, and we were in the car ride with his parents on our way down, and we are talking about like our dream to have a bus, and like, and David's dad was like, the church that he grew up going to, they had a bus that they were trying to sell, but they couldn't get rid of it. There's like a lot of crazy admission laws that are happening in California right now. And so basically, the short of it is that if you have a commercial vehicle that's a certain age, diesel commercial vehicle that's a certain age, California is not going to allow people to
continue to register them.
But there's a loophole. If you convert it into a motorhome, then you can.
It's no longer considered a commercial diesel vehicle, and so that's really cool.
So the school was like, or the church was like, we can't sell it.
It's useless to them.
And so they were like, you can have it. And we were like,
yes, please. Thank you.
That's an incredible loophole that I hope this video blows up just so people can hear like that, like right there, is that there's like little loophole things that if you look deep enough, you can find possibly interesting things. And because you're right, we're able to convert those and register them as an actual RV travel trip. So that's a great idea. Wow.
Definitely. And so there, that loophole does exist, but it has some, it's not the easiest loophole to get through, because they require inspections, and you have to like have like 4 or 5 out of 8 things that are that mark it as a motorhome, and that is required for them to consider it a motorhome. And that's like a working kitchen, you got to have a toilet, running water, heating source separate from the chassis, like engine, and stuff like that. So like you can go like full jerry rig and have a camping stove and take a picture of it and be like, this is my kitchen, stuff like that. But we were like, no, and in order for us to get the title transferred and to register it, we would have had to be done with our build, for them to inspect it and to approve it as an RV. So we're like, we're not sure when exactly that's going to happen, and we need to get it turned over to us, and title and registration and stuff like that. So
we found another loophole, which is even
Yep.
better, is that the state of Vermont, whether you live in it or not, will register you. And I mean, we found that on like a bunch of different other schoolie people that have been doing it. Like some people that would get older schoolies and didn't have titles, they
Yeah.
could register in Vermont. And then people who were in the process of converting but hadn't fully converted. And not only is it like much less expensive, but it's so simple.
And you can register for 2 years at a time.
Yeah, you can register for 2 years at a time. I mean,
Yeah.
we were so grateful. I think there's a couple other states that do it too. I think like Montana or something like
Or
that.
one of the Dakotas, I think.
Or something like
Yeah.
that. But Vermont, and so you'll notice too, like people, like if you go on Instagram and you look at like different schoolies, like I would say probably 60% of them, if not more, have Vermont plates. And
Green Vermont plates.
It's like a very distinct green Vermont plate.
Actually.
Yeah, I saw that you guys just got those.
Yeah, we just got ours. So yeah.
That's it.
We're registered.
Yeah. So yeah.
Well, man, I'm so glad you guys were able to share that, because that is, I mean, that literally blows my mind. So that's awesome. I hope somebody else out there that may be in that same situation wondering just goes, oh wow, it can be that simple, or like, I mean, it still takes some work, but yeah, you're the perfect person to be able to kind of get that resource out there, because you are a contractor, because you do have a lot of experience. It's like, who better to be able to have, in a community than somebody that knows like a ton of, information to give out there for people, whether they have questions. So yeah, you guys would be perfect at that.
Definitely. Yeah. And I'm actually kind of a little bit of on the same subject, but a little bit of a subject change as well. I'm actually about to start gaining a whole lot more knowledge in this field. I work for myself currently, and I am wrapping up my last client right now. I've got 2 or 3 days left on this big, huge remodel that I've been doing, addition for this client, and I'll be done this week. And we'll be taking the entire month of February to go full time on the bus. Right now, we've just been doing weekends, and I'm going to be going full time on the bus. And Maya gave her notice. She lives in LA, and she gave her notice at her house in LA to be out by the end of February. And so we'll be moving into it by March.
Yeah.
And so and then at that time as well, I'm going to be taking a job for a really good friend of mine. His name's Chris McClure. He owns his own company down here in San Diego. It's called RVMD.
He's helped us on the bus a bunch with a bunch of different like plumbing and electrical stuff that we kind of didn't know.
Right. Yeah. And what his company does is service, maintenance, repairs, rebuilds, everything, the whole 9 yards for motorhomes, travel trailers, RVs, weekend warriors, you name it. So mobile rigs is what he does for a living, and for the past 12 years, that's what he's been doing. And so he actually, I remembered that that's what he did when we were starting the bus build. And so I hit him up, and he's come out for a few days and here and there, and has helped us get some immense progress done. And in passing, one time he when we were working here, he mentioned, hey, offer me a job pretty much. And I kind of was like, oh, I love working for myself, but I kind of brushed it off a little bit, because it's, it is rewarding working for yourself. If I'm not feeling it, or if I feel like just let's go on a hike today or whatever, like we can go do that, and I kind of make my own schedule, and so I kind of didn't want to do that and lose that. But at the same time, I was like, hang on a minute. Took the next few days to very seriously consider that, and then I hit him up and I was like, yo, let's sit down and chat, because I think this is definitely the direction I want to go, because I do want to take my knowledge of building and my love for creating, and my, you know, our passion for mobile living, and combine all of those things. And I want to do schoolie conversions and build tiny homes and build schoolies for people. And we've already got a couple of friends that are in line.
When you've done your best.
Yeah, so
Please help us.
yeah, and so working for Chris would give me that
Knowledge.
very, very extensive knowledge, of rigs and how to do things very efficiently, and just learn these systems inside and out. Yeah, so I'm very grateful and excited for
Yeah.
this next leg.
And he's like, and Chris knows so much about, like, I mean, he even knows about like diesel engines and like the mechanics of like, and it's just, yeah. And when David and him, like, I've come to like help, like, I can't do, I mean, I can do all the things that David does, but like when they're working together, like it, like, something that would take us like 3 weekends in a row are done in one day. They just work really well together and just like hammering out getting it done.
Yeah.
Just, yeah, so we're very excited for that and grateful to have him, you know, as a friend and soon to be boss.
And honestly, if anyone needs is in the San Diego area, and with their school bus and needs assistance, I mean, he does everything from, you know, fixing the carpet to your water heaters, to your leaf springs, to your engine, to your you know, if you ran into a deer and you need reframing, like, you name it, like, so like obviously that's for like travel trailers and stuff like that. They have smaller like 2x2, 1x1 construction, but school buses are a little bit more.
Yeah, this is the first bus that he's worked on.
Yeah,
and he's like super stoked. Like every time he comes, like he's like, man, he's like, this is pretty cool, you know.
It's exactly what he does for a living, but just in a different skin and shell, you know. So but yeah, if anyone is in San Diego and needs help, he could definitely help service or figure out your plumbing or whatever if you got something that happened or whatever. So he's a good contact to have.
Again,
RVMD Mobile. So he's on Instagram at rvm.d.mobile.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome.
He just has a trailer that he hooks up and he brings it right to you. And he has his full setup. I mean,
he's got a full workshop inside a 16-foot box trailer and like workbench and all the tools, like literally everything you need to do anything.
That's really cool that he's mobile. That's actually
that's
a massive benefit to be able to get out to wherever.
Seriously, and he does calls out to like Borrego and Ocotillo, out to the desert. People are stuck, and he'll full on go out and like fix your leaf springs and do what you need to do to get you back on the road. Like,
that's awesome. That's great.
Cool. Yeah.
With your guys' build, do you have a full plan that you've kind of had as a contractor, or did you kind of a little bit, you know, kind of let the plan kind of unfold as you were building, or did you have it completely mapped out before you started, you know, nail one?
I think we didn't really start the building process until after like demo,
or the plan, or the designing,
the planning process of it, or do like a layout of anything until we got everything down to like, you know, the studs.
We had a fresh palette, and then we're like, okay, this is what we have to work with, and then now we can start to see what the potential possibilities could be, and then went from there, I guess.
There were times when we were like during demo, when we would just like sit in the bus and just like not talk to each other and just look around, and it's just like our brains working, you know, like just thinking of all the things and like just picturing, like just daydreaming about all the possibilities. And like we would just like stop and look at each other and be like, then we would like talk about it, like, okay, let's do this, let's do that, you know. And so it's, I mean, there's been a lot of daydreaming in the process of this build, and we change things, you know, here and there. You know, we were just talking today, like, we're like, oh wait, we don't have a place for like the garbage can. Like, where are we gonna put the garbage can?
It's funny, as we watched the video with, what's the couple's name that
think it was video 2.
Video episode 2.
Episode
Oh yeah,
2.
with Chase and Maria Jose.
Yes,
Yeah.
and we were like, dang it, they're right. We forgot the trash can.
Forgot the trash can too.
Shoot.
Still dealing with it like to this day. So it's
Yeah.
Yeah, so we decided, we were talking about it, we're like, wait, because we have a smaller camper stove, and so it's like
It's an old
it's
Wedgwood,
an old
actually.
Wedgwood camper stove,
Yeah.
which is we love, but it's like it's shorter, and so we were like, wait, there's this space behind here, but on the countertop, like what if we just do like something that flips
Like a flip or
and
tilt.
then just throw the garbage in there and just have like a small bin in there, and we can just pull it out. So we have to take up spaces like that. Like that's like, things that
Get really creative and use every space gets used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to bring up that stove too, because one thing I'm super proud of with our build here with the studio is that like I got a lot of stuff from Habitat for Humanity. Like every window, every door was like, I think I paid less than I would have paid for just like the door brand new if I bought it. And so
Right.
that I saw you guys were out there finding deals, finding, used stuff that can work great.
Yeah, we were
Definitely. And it's not like it's like you wouldn't really be able to tell that any of this stuff is used either. Like it's in great shape.
Yeah.
Which is really amazing, and we're super stoked about it and grateful.
We got lucky. So the guy that we got the stove from was this guy that is doing a van. He's doing a van build, and he was kind of like nervous about the gas situation. He was like, I don't know, I kind of feel weird about the gas situation. So he bought it, and then he was like, he's like, I don't really want to mess with the gas. And so it honestly looks like it's probably from like the 80s or 90s, but so clean. Never probably used maybe
once or twice.
Yeah, it looks like someone just like had this, camper, and like it's great condition. And what did we pay for? We paid like $125 for it or something like that. It's like,
yeah, we found it on OfferUp.
Yeah, found it on OfferUp. Like
same as our LG washer dryer combo.
Yep.
And our farmhouse sink.
Yep, farmhouse sink. I mean, the washer we got like we didn't really have it in the budget. Like when we were going through everything, like I was the one that we wanted was like $1,300.
It's more than that, I think.
Yeah,
it was out of the picture.
It was out of the range of like what we could afford. And so I was like, but David was like, well, what we're doing the build, we have to put the washer in there. He's like, I am not gonna not have a washer. And it
has to be in there before we put walls up and close off the entrance from the back door, because it's not gonna fit.
It wouldn't fit otherwise. Yeah. And so I had kind of given up on it, and he was just like pushing. And one day we were sitting here working on the bus, and I was just like, I'm gonna check. I'm just gonna go online and go on OfferUp and check and see if there's anything. And there it was, the one that we wanted for $500. The woman had it for like a year, and she was like, she just didn't like it, didn't want to use it. She was like more apartment.
They wanted to upgrade to like a double stack,
or
something like that, and they were done with the combo.
Yeah, so a $1,300 or $1,500 LG washer dry combo that was used for a year, we paid $500 for. I mean, it doesn't get better than that.
Yeah, there is nothing better than getting a good deal like that. Like I don't know. Maybe it's just me, my personality. Like when I get a good deal on something, I'm so stoked. Like,
definitely,
for the thing itself.
it's true. It's like it's refreshing too to have moments like that where you find things like that, because it just shows you that manifesting is a very real thing, and we believe very much in that. And just with getting the buzz, like
seriously,
and just like don't be ever be afraid to chase your dreams, like even if it seems completely unrealistic and out of the question or absurd, or how am I going to do it, how am I going to pay for it, where am I going to find it, like I don't know how to do it, I don't know how to build, like doesn't matter, like you'll figure it out. And if you want it, like you can make it happen.
We try to explain to like our people that we talk to, like some people that will hit us up on our Instagram or like friends that are like, they're like, I want that so bad. And we try to tell them like, this was just a dream for us at one point. And like, so, and it's so, it's like, it really is an obtainable dream. And so, yeah, we definitely like push the narrative. Like any of our friends are like, oh, you know, I'm like, no, go buy that bus.
Yeah,
People are able to make it work from every different walk of life, family style.
definitely.
People from like 8 people traveling with, with so many kids till just, individuals. Like it can accommodate like everything in between with
Right.
build, custom, because you really do get to build to, to your lifestyle what you need.
Exactly.
Yeah. And like,
exactly.
yeah, we've seen a lot of people, a lot of families that like do that, and they're like got like 5 bunk beds and stuff. And like, how do you fit? Like, the thing is too is like, we love nature and we love the outdoors. We love hiking. We love camping. It's like, like when we go on vacation, we go camping. That's our vacation.
That's it.
So, so like that's like our detachment from from the everyday grind. And so when you live in a tiny home, as I'm sure like or a bus, like you're spending most of your time like outside, like enjoying like what nature has to offer. And so that is very important to us, and we find a lot of peace and serenity in being in that moment.
With some of the build parts, like the skylight. I really love the skylight for the shower. Opening that whole thing up. I know for ours, like ours, we have kind of a small. It's like a decent size skylight. It makes the world of difference. So when I saw you guys were doing that, I was like, that's a smart idea. And did you have to get a deal to get the actual like skylight part?
Well,
it was a scary day. David like looked. We were doing it. He was sitting on the roof like drawing it out, and we were looking at it. We always had the idea to do like a full footprint of the shower, the entire footprint of the shower. That was like our idea. Like, I think there was a bus that we saw, and I can't remember their name, but they had it, and they would have it like open and taking a shower and like looking at the stars.
Oh wow!
Or and it's just like such a beautiful. It's just a great idea, and also like the the functionality of it too. Like you don't have to have a venting fan; you just open that up, and then all of that moisture goes right up into the air.
Yeah.
But the day we were doing it, it was like one of the projects we were kind of like pulling out our hair a little bit, because we're like, are we about to make a really big mistake right now? We're like, this is a really big hole in the top of our bus. And it's funny, our neighbor, Alan, who's like such a cool dude, he was like driving down, and as David's like sitting on the top of the roof, like cutting it, he says, it's gonna leak. And we were like, oh. We're like, what did we do?
Yeah, no. So yeah, so the skylight is the entire footprint of the shower, which is about 35 wide by 40 deep. And I'm gonna actually be fabricating it and welding it myself, building it from scratch. And so I've just been designing it in here. Yeah, I've done a little bit of drawing out and sketching on paper, but for the most part I've just designed it in my head, kind of like this door. But yeah, that's the current project, is welding this thing. This is the frame for it. But yeah, for the skylight though, we'll have it on barrel hinges, and I'm gonna have it be flat instead of domed. Like, no, it's not gonna have a bubble. I'm just gonna have it flat and have it just be hinged on the front, and then just a slight tilt, kind of like your studio, and then hinge from the front, and so we can tilt up and be able to crack it just an inch or two and have it cracked while we're driving, to let some air out there, as well as since it's on barrel hinges, you can just open it up all the way and then slide it off and take it off completely if you want.
That's cool.
But it's super secure, because the only way that it can be taken off is if it's open all the way. And so once it's closed and latched, it's just as secure as any other hinged item. So yeah.
We're also gonna have we wanted to have another access point to the roof, because we're gonna build a roof deck. And so we wanted the hole big enough so that, because we're going to put a ladder in the actual shower,
in the shower itself,
like
yeah.
going up the wall, so you could get to the roof
Yeah.
from the shower.
Cool.
It's like, yeah, it's also like an emergency exit too, because our emergency exit in the back is going to be really kind of
You have to squeeze through
you
it.
would have to like squeeze through it. So we wanted another emergency exit as well. I mean, there's just all the functionality of it. I mean, it's just, yeah, it was, and it's the one thing in our bus is that we didn't compromise size besides the bed. The bed is huge, but we, everything else is kind of like dumbed down to like littler or little, like, you know, in a tiny home. But the shower, we were like, we don't want to lose any space. We want a regular, the shower that will be in this bus is bigger than the shower at my house. So
It's nice that like in that customization is possible for people to
Right.
because we did that as well with ours. Is a king bed was a mandatory, and so I had to customize the whole room where, you know, normally you can kind of walk around just barely with like it's like it's almost not even a full queen, but I was like, no, I had to build a custom frame in there to get a full California king in there. Like,
Yep.
yeah,
We're doing the Cal King too. Yeah, like the entire back of the bus is all bed. Like there's no walking around nothing. Like it's just all bed.
Yeah, it's like a walkway like this big, and then like here's the shower. Yeah, but I mean, it'll be very comfortable. We have pets, and they like to hog the bed. So
yeah. We've got 2 cats, one full grown, one kitten. And then I have 2 snakes. And then soon after we get on the bus, we're gonna get a puppy.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be a full house.
With the back to the skylight and the ladder, that is genius. I did. The more I thought about it for a second, I'm like, wait a minute. The shower's the kind of least used piece of space in the entire bus or build always for anybody. And if you can, in a cool way, incorporate that when it's not in the way when you're showering. Now, obviously, if someone does a really tiny shower, that's maybe not an option. But that's a really genius idea to just use almost unusable space most of the time to get up onto the roof.
Totally, yeah. And if you know, like we're gonna build a small deck off of the back bumper and pull the back bumper, you know, reverse like 3 feet, something like that, and just build a short deck. And so we'll have a ladder on that deck to get up to the roof deck. But we also wanted something inside, you know, because if we're all hanging out up on the roof, you know, you don't want to have to get down, go outside, walk around, especially like if it's snowing or if there's snow outside or whatever. You just go straight up there.
On the back deck, is it going to be like down all the time, or is it going to be one that flips up and down?
It'll be down all the time. And I would like to design the roof deck to overhang and cantilever past the back of the bus just a little bit. And possibly at some point, maybe like make something that could enclose from the top deck down to the bottom deck, and so that we could have cats out there, like a little cat hangout.
So like almost like a little screened in area. That's a really good idea. You have to utilize every inch of space you can when you live tiny. So I mean, it's just, you see those habits grow. It's like, okay, once people realize roof decks are almost a must, like you've got to have one of those. You can use so much space. Even the back decks now, the ones that you can put that little back deck on. I mean, God, that adds a ton of extra usable space. I mean, everything from you know, you can literally build like pull out tables that come out of the decks. Like there's so many things you can do
for real. All the way down to just being able to have something to sit on so you can use the outdoor shower to clean your sand off your feet. Like super useful.
Usable area. So I hope to see more and more people, you know, able to build those off the little back areas.
Definitely.
So you guys are going to be living with pets full time, but are you guys going to be traveling at full time, or just is for you guys, is it going to be more like get out as much as you can, weekends, weeks, or?
We're going to, when we first move in, when we move in at the end of February, the bus isn't going to be completely done. It'll be livable. And so we're just trying to like save money too, because I pay a lot of money to live in Los Angeles right now, and I would like to get out of that. So we found a friend of ours just bought a house, and he has like this spot where it used to be a mobile home used to sit there that was torn down, and so he's going to rent us this spot.
Oh,
And so
cool.
we're gonna, yeah, we're super stoked. So we're gonna stay there, save money, finish our build, and then we'll probably more take it for a little bit, like just, you know, on trips and stuff like that.
Yeah, it'll be our able to be driven home, stationary home for the initial probably 6 months or so. And then, you know, we'll take it on a couple of camping trips and just to get it out and to break it in a little bit. But I'll be working full time with Chris down here working on RVs and motorhomes and stuff like that. And so life is going to be pretty crazy, and I'm going to be working
Yeah.
long hours. So I'd say for the most part for the next few years, we won't be getting out like regularly. We'll do what we can as
Yeah.
much as we can when we can,
Yeah.
for sure.
Well, it definitely makes
But
a weekend camping trip decision a lot easier,
absolutely,
you know?
totally,
Oh, for
yeah,
sure. And I mean, living where we live, there's so many different places that we can go and like, you know, experience things. And we do want to take it on like big trips. Like in the
yeah.
next couple of years, we definitely do want to take it, like take a couple months off of work and take it to Maine.
Hmm.
So that, you know, but I mean, our main goal right now is to save money, finish our build and then save money and then buy property.
Yeah.
That is like our, you know, our end game is to have our
5 years to infinity.
yeah, 5 years to infinity.
Yeah.
Have a piece of property that we can call our own, and you know, do, you know, we're both really, you know, we want to be like our own like self-sustaining like farm and have like all of that's our dream, is to, you know, do everything, not have to go to a job. You know, like when you wake up for work, your work is to, you know, take care of the animals, or, you
Yeah, we
know,
want to get out of the system and just
yeah, we
live
want to get
live
out
for
of the
us and not live for someone else's, you know, definition of normalcy or like whatever, you know, like we want to live fully off grid and
Yeah.
completely sustainable, have livestock, have grow crops.
You guys plan on doing
Yeah,
that in California?
We're actually looking. We actually want to go north. We're actually thinking about doing Oregon, or we're really
probably Oregon.
Probably Oregon. We're like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's our dream, is to have a. And we're talking. We want a lot of property, like
1
David.
to 500 acres.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel it's just always like as big as your wallet, you know.
Yeah.
Handle, I'm always like as much as I can get, because yeah, that's exactly, it's funny when people talk about that, it's like I can't tell if that was me talking in my head about what we, you know, our plans are, because it's funny, you just see the same like-minded people. It's like that's our plan, hopefully this year and or going into next year, is to finally get the property, and with the studio that we built, we can just transport it and sit it there, kind of have a you know, have a kind of a head start of having something on the property to, you know, use and then build from there. And you know, and then go the home, that I mean that's our goal too, is the homesteading route eventually. Like get the homestead going and then be able to travel when we want and when we can, be able to, you know, maybe rent out like a tiny home on the property while we're gone, be able
Exactly. We want to invite friends too, and like-minded people to stay. And like if we do want to take off, we'll be like, okay, we're gonna leave for a couple months. Y'all take care of the farm, or you know what I mean? And do, and yeah, and then just have that available, you know. There, a lot of our friends are very like-minded, and they want, like, they have like the same goals and aspirations, and I think we're just kind of, you know, at the forefront of of making that a reality, you know. Like we do want to share this dream with other people as well.
We're the icebreakers.
We're the icebreakers.
Yeah.
Everybody in their personal life really is that to like even the rest of their personal life,
right?
And it really, you do see it grow from that. Like, I mean, so many people have people that they know end up going into that and building one themselves, because they realize like, oh, that was maybe a lot cooler than I thought at the beginning, or, you know, gave you crap like when, you know,
yeah,
just thinking about it. but you guys have really been super awesome, and I love what you guys are
Well, things.
going for.
Yeah, I'm just so, I don't know. I constantly fall asleep and wake up thinking of and brainstorming for projects and just this life and for the bus and like and for the future and be it, the bus build itself or, what the future holds. And it's good. It's really good. And I know there's just a lot of craziness going on and uncertainties and a lot of fires happening right now in our world. And but like at the same time, it's all about being able to change your perception and your perspective on your reality. And if you want to be stressed and anxious, you can decide that for yourself by what you do and what you spend your time thinking about. But like, if you want to dream and you want to chase it and not be afraid to follow your passions and to discover your passions, whatever it is, like your perception and perspective can change and life can become so beautiful and the future is so bright. And especially like with the future of community, of schooly community, like there's going to be a whole, I'm just like seeing it in like 5 years, there's going to be a whole like housing market. Like we're gonna be the GameStop of the housing market. Like
when you were saying earlier, I was thinking like I hope to live in a time where land that doesn't have something built on it seems like a cooler more valuable idea than something that's already got something built. Like, which I don't think that'll happen, but at least I know that there's a small community of people that will build that and live that lifestyle.
Totally, yeah. And it's so exciting too, just being like the network is growing and like we're making friends with people all over the country and
even all over the world. Like we talk to people in Australia, we talk to people like in like South America. Like the community and that's the thing is every day I go on Instagram and there's more people to add. Like we are growing like so much. And we're just excited for the future. And one of the things is like it's so important to like dream big and daydream. Like this was just, like I said before, this was just like a dream for us. Like we didn't realize it was even possible. And then once we start putting it out there and just like putting one foot in front of the other, like now we have a bus, and that's we're living a really good life, and we want other people to go shoot for the stars too.
Thank you guys so much for coming on, because that's just like that's the only thing I want to hope to express to people through that is just the possibility is there, and that you can use the resources from other people that have gone before you to make it easier on yourself to learn from the pitfalls that can happen, and just and to just continue to see this community grow. So thank you guys so much. Your Instagram channel, The Magic Cool Bus. I love the name.
Definitely, cool with a K.
Cool with a K. So Magic Cool with a K.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you guys so much for joining me.
Thank you so much for having us.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You guys have a good day.
All right, thanks. You too.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Peach Life Podcast. Next week, we are joined by Angus and Morgan. Join us for this awesome conversation about what schooling of the future might look like for students and teachers. I really hope you enjoy this episode of the Peach Life Podcast. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell for new episodes each week.